Very busy time of year because we've got all of our cleaning, tidying, preparation to make the garden ready for winter. And also we're going to be putting in some seeds for our winter veg that will be growing in the greenhouse and the polytunnel. So quite a few bits to go through today. So tidying out the greenhouse, preparing it for those new crops to go in there, and generally tidying the garden and making it ready for winter. Now, this is going to be my last show of 2023, but there will be some little weekly small videos that will be cropping up later throughout the year. So without any further ado, let's crack on with October in a year gardening. Away in Weymouth, and I decided not to pick my green tomatoes before I went and see if anything would happen. And we've got lots of red ones, and I'm just going to clear those now, collect those in, because the plants have had it, but there's still some lovely fruit on here which we can use indoors. So I'm picking all of this now, and then I'm going to go outside and have a look at my apples as well, because they're going to need picking as well. I've got a few lovely tomatoes here, so not quite sure what I'm going to do with all of these, but as you can see, I've got quite a few there and a few more to come off these plants. Well, the weather's changed and we don't really want to be losing this lovely fruit to the ground, so we just give that a little twist and these apples will just come off. Oh look, that's a beautiful apple there, gently into the basket down here. We don't want to bruise any of these, and we just take these last few apples from the tree. Beautiful. Pop those into here. Well, the annuals are coming to an end now, and I really want to be able to get the mower into the bottom here, so I'm going to cut these down, clear them out. So just start to just tidy them off, and then we'll lift from the bottom and we'll get all these down onto the compost. They've given us a lovely display this year, particularly these cosmos have been absolutely beautiful. We can get these out. Some of these just pull straight up anyway, which is going to be very useful. And yeah, we'll take this compost off of here. Remember, these ones here are the ones that I planted on the sheets of paper, and they did give me a really lovely display. So we'll get this off of here, tidy this out here, and then we'll see what I'm going to need to do just to tidy this up. I've got a few ideas now for what I want to do down here for next year, and I need to just make sure it's going to work out properly for me. So we'll get all of these roots off so that I can then get the mower in here, tidy this all up, and I'll get all of these out of here. So yeah, another half an hour or so in here. I might just cut a few of these cosmos flowers, any ones that we can keep and put them into a vase indoors for a little while. But otherwise, all of this lot comes out, unfortunately now, gets ready for next year. I've got to lift some of the weed that's coming through in the peace garden over there, and I'm going to leave the forget-me-nots that have self-seeded. They'll give me some nice flowers in the start of the year, but just a little bit of weeding on there just to tidy it through. And we'll have this nice and ready for overwintering then. But I want to be able to get this grass cut, so that's going to be a job for 5 minutes time. But let's get these out first of all. Just a little bit of autumn pruning, tidying this down, a couple of the other plants, so let's crack on with that. So we're looking at shaping these plants for next year. You can see maybe just where we've got these buds growing on here, I'm going to take this back just to in front of that bud, clear that through, and that's going to help things for next year. This is going to give me my new growth for next year. But look at the height of things we've got up here. This is far too high for the way I want it. So again, we've got a nice growth bud here. I'm going to take that off, and now we're starting to clear and get the shape back. Too much of a straight branch here, growing over the other ones. Take this one right back. Pull that one out of the way. And gradually we're going to build the shape of the tree quite nicely. Again, we've got this one coming out here, which is going to grow across. We need to just take this one back to the bud there. And gradually the fruit tree is going to take its shape. This is the fruit tree, but let's move on to something else. Well, you might remember these little trees which I had in pots, which were, I don't know, 300-400 mil high. They've now reached a great height. Now we don't want these to grow too high, so we need to take out the leader here, and we're going to take this right down inside here and bring that one down just to the secondary growth here. That will come out of the top, and we've got another one just here which we need to bring back down as well. And I believe this one should come down as well. So we're going to take this one down just below that growth there. And we are now looking at a sensible height here. Got to do the same thing on the other tree on this side, because this is the entrance to my little secret garden. We're going to take this one right out there. We will trim down the edges of this, but this is a really large growth, and I want this to be about the same height as that one, so we're going to take this one out right here. There we go. Let's have another look here. Which ones are going to be forming the leaders? So we just take this one out about here. Getting the height right, and we're going to take this one out just here as well, so we can balance the height of these two together. This one here is going to come right down. So this is tidying the garden for next year, so we can get everything nicely balanced. Got another leading growth here, so we're going to take this one out. Lovely. And then we'll trim this up with the shears over the next 12 months, get the shape back on these lovely Italian cypress. Nice. Well, it's time now for me to start sowing my winter products for the greenhouse, and I've got a new one here, which is they're called calcots or calsots. They are a Spanish type of cross between a spring onion and a leek, and I'm going to be growing them in one of my deep containers. So I've already prepared this, and I'm just going to get some seeds, and they're typical onion seed. They're fairly small. I don't really want to overdo this in there. That's going to be more than enough. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle these over the surface in here, and that's probably around about 30-35, something like that. Get those growing in there. Obviously we'll thin them out as they grow. Well, these need a soil temperature of at least 15 degrees to germinate, but then they like to grow over winter. So it's a really good time to be sowing them now. Just seal the top of that. And then I'm going to just open some compost and cover that up. And we'll just put a nice little covering of compost over the top on here. Lovely. This is going to give me hopefully a nice harvest of these. Let's see how it goes. Right, I'll just get the watering can, water that in, we'll get that started off. I'm also going to be putting out some winter greens. I've got some all year round cauliflowers which I'm going to plant. I'm going to be doing some lettuce and some rocket and some cut and come again salad just for the winter months. So we'll have plenty of activity going on in the greenhouse, and we'll catch up on that in the new year. Well, it's a really good time now to just take advantage of this warm start to October. So in order to get some more germination here, I'm just going to plant out some more all year round cauliflower seeds, and I'll get a little group of those going in this tray here. I'm going to just fine sprinkling on here. So we're going to have around about 20 or 30 seeds here. Not all will germinate, but we'll get a nice little spread. And I'm just going to put some compost over the top of those. Nice little fine spread of compost here. That's plenty there. And then we just level that down. Lovely. And we'll water that in. And hopefully within about 10 days or so we'll have germination on these. Get them growing. And then we'll be able to move those into the polytunnel for overwintering. So still got a few more seeds I'm going to be putting out and get things growing for the winter time inside here in the greenhouse and in the polytunnel. And I hope you have as much success as me over this winter. As you can probably see, this beast is growing really large and could cause some damage to the greenhouse. So I've got to stand carefully here, but I've got to take out some of this large growth. Now this is a rather invasive plant. It's a self-seeding elder, and it can come through and cause no end of damage. So we're going to take this right out, and then all I've got to do is get my shredder out, and then I can cut this down into some rather nice bits and pieces to use as a mulch. But we're going to take all this out. I've got to watch that I don't step backwards and fall in the pond, which is something I don't want to do. But as we take this out, so that's about a third of this done. I'm going to take the rest of this out, tidy it all up, and then that's not going to cause any damage to the greenhouse. Well, that's near enough all gone now, and I'll tidy that up in the next couple of minutes. So another job done. decided to make the most of this unseasonably dry and warm weather in October to get a bit of a tighter cut on the grass, because the weather forecast for the next sort of 7 to 10 days is dry, warm, so it's going to grow through again. So if I can get a nice cut down on this, that should see it for the winter. Anyway, that's going to bring me to the end of today's little show, so I'll pop back over to a seat, find a little glass of wine and just sum up today's show. You know, sometimes it's just good to sit and relax in the garden. Do nothing. Chill. Light the barbecue and have a nice quiet evening. And whilst we're enjoying this lovely, almost spring, summer-like weather in early October, that's what I'm doing today. But the enjoyment of getting the garden tidied and cleaned up for winter is also something I've been really having such fun with. However, that's it. I'm just sitting here thinking, end of 4 years of doing this on YouTube. That's quite a time. And this will be our 85th broadcast, which is again something to celebrate. So I'm just going to leave it with a chill. I'm going to pick up a glass of wine and I'm going to wish you all the best. So with a small glass, I'll just say, stay safe, stay well, be kind to each other, and happy gardening. Cheers. I will see you with some short little videos over the next few weeks, but our next main show will be in 2024. So stay safe, everyone. Have a lovely season. Keep warm over winter, and I'll see you next year.